Our view on the green transition was related to this brochure, which we produced already when we started in 2014. And then we asked the question, can we be 100% fossil free tomorrow? And the answer was, in principle, yes. Um, but we need to be more intelligent. We need to link the different energy vectors. We need to use IT. We need to focus on knowledge sharing and combine the different energy vectors by digitalization. Of course, we also realized that we could not be 100% fossil free just tomorrow, but it's just very motivating to think that in principle it's actually possible, because the sun delivers in one to 2 hours the amount of energy which the globe needs in a whole year. So it shouldn't be that complicated, and that's where we started cities with this motivation and hope. And I think we have achieved a lot. And I will briefly sketch through some of what we have achieved. I do have quite a number of boring facts. I'll not spend too much time on it. The project started 1st of January 2014, and it will end by the end of this year. We do have a lot of both national and international partners, and we have a budget originally around 70 million Danish kroner, and then we have got extra funding, so it's around 75 million in total. The goals we promised in the application, again, I will not really spend much time on that, was that we should produce 30 to 40 journal papers, 6 summer schools, educate around 15 PhDs and postdocs, and we should also create a city's innovation center, which should run in parallel to city and absorb the city's results and get them out into the world and into business. And then, of course, we should support a green smart cities project nationally and globally. What we have achieved so far, and we are coming to an end, is that we have published 290 scientific publications. 130 of these are journal papers. So we delivered by far what we promised. We also, and that's also very important, I think, that we educated more PhD and postdoc than we promised, particularly due to extra funding. And we have had a lot of demo projects where we have tested results in reality together with our partners, together with the cities, together with energy supply companies. And based on that, we actually have produced now 25 brochures, 2 pages with more concrete solutions which you can follow in order to implement the city's results. Here are some of the brochures which you can find on the homepage. I'll not dig into the details. Some of the highlights are, of course, that we claim that we could pave the way to reduction in the CO2 emission, and also at the same time deliver cost savings. And what we have shown is that related to the data-driven temperature optimization, each year in Denmark we can save 800 million, just in Denmark. And of course that corresponds to a lot of CO2 savings. We have also demonstrated that we can save 10 to 30% CO2 or cost by predictive control of heat pumps in summer houses, and that's very similar to heat pumps in district heating systems. We have also demonstrated that by new smart house controllers, we integrated forecasting and controllers in one solution, can lead to 5 to 10 savings. And we have demonstrated, for instance, here in Copenhagen, we could save around 40% of the heat load forecasts, and the same was true for the electricity load in Sweden. But in some other areas, the improvements are more than 10%. I'll not go into the details here, but maybe I will mention that when it comes to data centers, Olivier mentioned Google. We have just got a new project called Cool Data, based on the fact that we know that we can save up to 90% of the cooling for data centers. There is a but, and the but we'll come back to that. The but is something like, which also Olivier nicely touched upon, that we should really have the right framework conditions and energy taxes and tariffs and so on. We have also provided a lot of digital solutions for better modeling, forecasting, control. These are solutions which are now ready for industrial adaptation. Today and tomorrow, many of our partners and work package leaders will provide many more results and descriptions in more detail in their presentations. So what we believe is that those of you who come from Denmark has followed the ice hockey stick debate, because the government is focusing now on a plan where they want to invest in technology, on new methods for energy storage and energy conversion, and in order to achieve the 2030 goals, which is a 70% reduction of the CO2 emission compared to 1990. And it has been criticized that this is a very risky plan, because it will be a very slow, rather flat reduction in the CO2 emission for many years. And then in 2028, 29, then all the investments in technology and research will pay off, and we will achieve the 70% reduction. We think that we should benefit from what we have shown in city and revert the ice hockey stick, because we do have on the shelf a lot of tools which we could install tomorrow and prove CO2 reduction virtually tomorrow. Here are some of the highlights, and I will not go into all of these highlights, but I'll probably mention a few. We have really made a big step into new planning tools, which goes from city planning to regional planning to country planning, and link them all together. We have also shown how to use short-term flexibility in long-term planning solutions, which didn't really exist before we did that. We have provided what we call a smart energy operating system, which is a IT package built on big data, modeling, AI, Internet of Things, controllers, forecasting, for implementing these smart energy solutions. And these are the framework which we have adopted in many of the demo projects. We have also developed what we call an ancillary service 4.0, where we can help even the DSO operator with voltage control and in the DSO area. And then I will also briefly mention that the work in cities by Rune on flexibility functions has got recognition as one of the most cited papers in applied energy, which is one of the highest ranked papers within this area. Here, I will not dig into the details, but I will just mention that we promised in the application to establish a cities innovation center. Together with the steering board, together with our international advisory board, what has come out now instead is, together with other universities and other projects, we have now established a Center Denmark, which is a digital innovation hub for smart and integrated energy systems. And that's also why we tomorrow will have the second day of the city's final conference, together with some of these other projects. We have also established Unilab DK, which is a collaboration between test labs and living labs all over Denmark, which are linked to the Center Denmark setup. And of course, you'll learn more about this during the conference also. The recommendation, we have a large number of recommendations, and I must say that we still have to discuss this with the steering board. But this has been iterated with the work package leaders and some of the main research in the project. One thing is clear, is that we should really, in order to accelerate the green transition and not wait 10 years to reduce the CO2 emission significantly, we must now, and we mean now, prioritize digitalization and data-driven methods. Because and also systems for sector coupling, power to X, including power to heat, should be focused on, and we should remove barriers for for this sector coupling. And of course, this should go hand in hand with the digitalization. Then, as I said, the government are focusing a lot on physical storage solution and new materials and so on. But we have documented in cities that we can provide a lot of virtual storage solution where we can have, for instance, a hybrid heat pump which can shift from electricity to biogas, and in that way we can use the biogas as a sort of virtual storage of electricity. We have also highlighted that test zones really must be representative and scalable. Test zones is something the government focuses a lot on for the moment, but we should just be careful when we design this, because we must be sure that results can be are representative for the Danish society and can scale, so we have trust in the conclusions. Energy systems planning is very important, and our recommendation is here that future methods should more focus on planning tools which hides at, for instance, a given CO2 reductions rather than a given technology. We think there is a need for really address a next generation of planning tools, also built on some of the learnings we have from cities. We have also learned, and that has been very clear in the cities project, that cities and municipalities play a very, very important role. They are the one which can take decisions, which can help us improving that we actually can pave the way towards a more green future. And I would argue that cities and municipalities should have a bigger role in the future energy system transformation, because the government is very often influenced by lobby organizations, and probably they don't really dare take the right decisions. Smart buildings, I will not dig into all of it here, but we think we should adapt data-driven approaches for energy labeling and energy performance criteria. We have them based on research we have conducted over the last few years. We also think that, in EU, they have launched the Smart Readiness Indicator, which is based on table for how the building is designed. But based on the flexibility function and the flexibility index, we suggest data-driven alternatives for this instead of the table-based approaches. We also think that markets should be designed to better integrate different energy vectors, and we should harmonize things across the different energy vectors, so we have the same CO2 taxes all over. Policy, and that's probably the most important recommendation now. And the most important thing is that we need new CO2 related energy taxes now, and we all agree upon that. So please, government, decision maker, that's priority number one. We also know that a new report came out on dynamic tariff structures, which describes methods for that we need dynamic tariffs, and we have methods for doing that. We have also in cities created a lot of software and solutions, as also briefly mentioned before. And we have created a new permanent website page, where we'll store this software, so we can download software, data, solutions, brochures, also after cities has come to an end. Then I will briefly mention about Center Denmark, which is now a European digital innovation hub, which is approved under Horizon 2020, and it is also approved on the AirNet smart energy systems. Here we adapt a circular approach in implementing flexibility solutions for flexibility and virtual storage solutions, and in the development and digital energy solutions together with our partners. This is just a control room, and that's Unilab Denmark. So I think I'm running a little bit out of time, but here is from the summer houses where we have proven for this house we could save CO2, 15% CO2 just by a smart control. I don't have time to go into the detail. But one thing which is very important is that we need forecast of the CO2 emission over the next 24 hours. And that's where we, for instance, collaborate closely with Olivier and his company tomorrow. We have also proven that we can establish virtual storage characteristics by sector coupling and by digitalization. Here are some of the numbers. One thing we should really focus on is also district heating and cooling system can really provide solutions for quite some period, which is essential. I will conclude here, and I want to thank a lot of people here for their help. And it's clear it's not me; it's really our partners, our students, postdocs, and VP leaders who has done the work. And also, I would also like to thank both the International Advisory Board and Steering Board. We have got very useful input to how we should execute cities. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Henrik. I definitely can see that there are so many people, students, advisors, technicians, professors, researchers, and not at least cities and municipalities involved in making this such an interesting program. And there's a lot for politicians and others to pick up on. This is absolutely fascinating. Again, I haven't received that many questions, but actually it seems that we can use the chat so people can write the questions there, and then I will invite the speakers to answer directly to the questions in the chat when time allows you for that. You must have been very clear, Henrik, as questions have not come in. Another side, it must be because all these people have been involved with the cities project, so they are familiar with the recommendations and the actual work coming out of it. I have one here certainly saying from Pierre Vogler-Fink, thank you very much for the presentation and our collaboration. And he raises the question, how do we promote CO2 dynamic taxation together? I'll leave that one question to you, and then we'll have to move shortly on. So Henrik, I'll mute myself.
Thanks, Pierre, and thanks, Neergate, for your active participation here also. Yeah, I fully agree with you that this is the number one, most important thing we need to move forward with. And the government has before they went on summer holiday, they discussed green taxation and a new way of implementing that. And we should, all of us, we must help each other really to put power on the government, and they should take some serious changes. We have the tools. Tomorrow have the tool. In cities we have the tools. We know how to do it. So they should not just play the game where they making it look like real thing is happening and then they don't really do anything, as also Olivier Corradi. This is rather simple. We can do it tomorrow. So please help us.